Fans, friends, and enemies of the internet, thank you for joining us for the all-new episode 3 of Peeridium Podcast. My name is OutBREAK, and I'm joined today by my co-host,
Mojave.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about quite a few things. We're going to revisit some stuff we've talked about before. We've got some news regarding GameStop, Lord of the Rings, a lot of Disney stuff.
Can't forget the PUBG.
PUBG, and a very big announcement. Well, not an announcement, but the release of the Avengers Infinity War trailer. So, we'll get things started with a sip of this lovely Red Bull. I've got the tangerine flavor.
I have the yellow tropical.
Awesome. Let's cheers it.
Whatever.
Cheers it up.
Whatever.
The orange edition or
Whatever
the yellow
tropical
edition.
entails.
I think mostly just Tom Hanks sweat from Castaway. On-set sweat.
That's exactly what it is.
Pretty good. I like it. If you didn't catch episode 2, I kind of took a subtle jab at the taste of energy drinks. And felt kind of bad about it. Because I actually love Red Bull. So we wanted to sip on some Red Bull. We're out of Balls right now. Because Balls hasn't sponsored us yet. They haven't picked us up. We're still working out the details on that. So we'll get things started. First, if you didn't know, GameStop is a company that buys and sells games, like used games. They even do, systems and all that. They recently announced that they were going to do a service called the Power Pass, which was going to be $60 for a 6-month period, which of course equates down to about $10 a month. And it would allow you to rent from their used game selection. And it would be almost like a GameFly or a disc Netflix type service where you go get a game, take it home, keep it as long as you want, but you can't get another game until you bring it back and swap it out. And they even had like an option where you could keep the game, you just pay the differential or what have you, or maybe get a discount on it, something like that. So, the Power Pass was put on hold. They just pulled it. This was a couple weeks ago this news was announced, but I really wanted to cover it. They said that they need to reevaluate. The official statement said, "We've elected to temporarily pause the rollout of the new Power Pass subscription service based on a few program limitations we have identified. We feel this is the right thing to do for now to ensure we are able to provide our guests an exceptional service." So, to me, all that really, what it tells me is that they probably didn't have any limits, so everybody, of course, was going and renting the newest games, the Wolfenstein 2s, the Call of Duty World War 2s, what have you, and they were like, wait a minute, we got to cover that. We have to have a grace period or something like that.
Essentially, they were saying, we don't want to become Blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where they were going with it.
Well, I almost feel, I hate to say it, but I feel like inevitably they'll be in the same position that Blockbuster's in now. A few years from now, they just have had a really hard time adapting to the trends of, the industry and with everything going digital and then being, primarily a physical store. I just think they haven't really done a good job. They've also had a lot of controversy this year specifically with, I forget what it's called, I think the Circle of Life program and, employees were being kind of told to mislead customers. I never really had any instances of that when I worked for GameStop in years past. I actually enjoyed my time. I had a good, good staff and everything, but they were definitely strict back then about you gotta push pre-orders, you gotta, sell the Power Up rewards.
Subscriptions.
Yeah. And they were real heavy on that. And for a minimum wage, lowest of the low end job, I think it's a little much to ask. So, anyways, so Power Pass is currently on pause. I think it's a cool service, and it's actually something that I'd look into getting, especially because I don't get a whole lot of time to game, and there's games that, when they first come out or whatever, all the hype's around them, I'm like, yeah, I'd really like to play that, but anytime I buy those types of games, like the Call of Duty World War 2s, I play them for 2 weeks and I'm done. Yeah. I would much rather be able to do that and then go get something else.
Yeah.
So,
makes sense.
Power Pass is done for now. Hopefully GameStop gets it situated. I think that was a step in the right direction for them. I think it would definitely bring some business into their stores, put some dollars into their wallets. So hopefully they work out the kinks with that. There's not too many of those types of stores anymore. We're running out of the FYEs, the GameStops, even Best Buy, and they're kind of the last man standing of a large scale store. So I don't really want to see them go. I'd like to see them change some things. but I like to see them stick around for now.
Yeah, we need your pops, GameStop.
We do. We need them, and we need them in stock on Black Friday. We need the pops that you advertise in stock. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Speaking of pops and GameStop,
yeah,
I remember reading some shady stuff going on at these GameStops with those mystery boxes. Like, managers were opening them up. Not only, like, on the UPC somewhere did it have, like, a letter that corresponded with the chase or the pop inside, but some of the managers were actually opening up the said boxes and saying you had to buy certain items. Like, this happened at, like, multiple stores, like, more than just one. Like, managers were going through mystery boxes.
Wow.
That's something they need to figure out.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, I'm sure it's still the same way. I still have some friends that work with the company. I know, like, the managers, like, that's the sweet spot. If you can get to the manager's position, because you get, like, free games. They do an annual conference in Vegas. You get to meet WWE superstars and actors and all types of cool stuff and see, you know, brand new games. It's like their own personal E3. So, like, I would not go, you know, like, I wouldn't put myself through the ringer and potentially be out of a job for doing a shady practice like that over some Funko Pops. I know some of them are tagging money. You know, I've seen some of the chases are $60, $70. They may have even gone up more on eBay. But, like,
is that worth your job?
It's not worth it because, like, even if your store has 4 or 5 of them, like, is it worth a couple $100? No. Not to be out of a job. So, yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea. But now I kind of want to look up those UPCs and go see the GameStops. We have, in our area, we live kind of near Baltimore. There's GameStops everywhere. Like, you could just throw a football in any direction, unless you're Tom Savage from the Texans, and you'll hit a GameStop. All right, moving on to the next thing. Lord of the Rings.
That's the movies with the walking, right? A lot of walking.
Yeah, I think so. There's a ring too, which is kind of misleading because it's the rings. But
it's actually a Fitbit that went on their finger.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
It kind of was like that was probably where they got the idea. Somebody's a big Tolkien fan. They read the books and they were like, "We can make that a bracelet." It had smartphone features to it.
Good idea if that little ring could track people.
We're going to produce way more than one of them. Anyways, Lord of the Rings, Amazon's been stepping up their game with shows. They had The Tick come out earlier this year. That was a big hit. They have, I can't remember the names of some of the shows, but I've heard some good things about shows that are on Amazon. I'm like the only person I know that's not subscribed to Amazon Prime, so I don't get to watch them. But I'm excited about this. The Peter Jackson films are, like, really drawn out, in my opinion. So I have a hard time, like, revisiting them and watching them. So I'm excited to see something in a shorter, you know, in a sectional format as a show, where the episodes will probably be an hour long. Like, I can manage that. You know, I can go through that, you know, one a day or every couple days. So I'm really excited for that. And they said there's a statement here. This was I'm not going to be able to pronounce their name, so I'm just going to run through it, and I'll say their first name, because I don't want to disrespect them. Lord of the Rings is a cultural phenomenon, no way, that has captured the imagination of generations of fans through literature and the big screen, said Sharon Y. of Amazon. She's the head of the scripted series for Amazon Studios. We are honored to be working with the Tolkien Estate and Trust, HarperCollins, and New Line on this exciting collaboration for television, and are thrilled to be taking the Lord of the Rings fans on a new epic journey in Middle-earth. So just a general statement about it, but I think it's cool. I think it's so far just the concept of it being announced is promising. Mm-hmm. Amazon's obviously a really wealthy company. We know it's not going to be cheap in terms of, like, special effects or anything like that. Like, they're going to put money into this thing, and it's probably going to have, you know, big name actors or big talent actors. They don't necessarily have to be big name. I think it's got promise, and I'm excited to see what happens with it.
For sure.
Probably means a lot of toys and stuff too. And I remember the toys. Yeah, they came out when we were younger. Those toys were slick. Like, even if you didn't like the movies, those toys were pretty badass.
I remember them. Like, even like when, I don't know, it was like Burger King or something would, like, have some stuff, like, even that was sweet.
Right. You know? Like, that was the thing that I really, like, loved about Lord of the Rings. The movies, again, to me, are, like, really slow paced. It's hard for me to really enjoy them, especially in one sitting. but I love like the look of the characters and stuff, and it was so awesome. Like making my own Lord of the Rings story where it wasn't all about walking and it was just about kicking some orc ass or something. You know, like we weren't messing around with walking. You know, it wasn't a 5K. His last name should be Walken, J.R.R. Walken. All right, so you ever played Marvel Heroes?
I have not, but I am aware of what it is.
Okay, so Marvel Heroes is like almost like a Diablo style MMO, and they just recently, earlier this year, I want to say June 2017, made it available on PS4 and Xbox One as Marvel Heroes Omega. Disney ended the partnership with the studio that made it. They were called Gazillion, and it was supposed to be shutting down at the end of the year. Actually, like when I wrote this episode, it was just announced that it was shutting down. So it was like they were given until the end of the month or the year or something. Like everybody had some time to finish up. You know, like if they really wanted to grind and max out a character or get, you know, a trophy or achievement or something before it was done, they had the chance. But then Gazillion said, basically, we can't afford to keep the lights on. We're shutting it down immediately. And that was like the end of last week. So it's been down for about a week now. People are pissed. Not rightfully so. I mean, I played the game for about an hour, a couple hours. I spent like $5 so I could get a character I wanted. You know, I'm not losing sleep over $5, but I'm sure with these type of games,
people who invested like tons of more money,
right? And it was free to play, so it had a freemium format, and that is, when we talked microtransactions, if it's free to play, I think it's justified to have a pay platform in it. You know, not too greedy, but theirs was actually pretty reasonable. Like if you wanted a certain character, you could get most of them for a reasonable amount of money. Generally, you're not going to play as 8 different characters at a time. So if you spend $20 on the game, you get yourself a few characters.
Like you're saying, you know, you would go out and get your favorite character, maybe 1 or 2. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, it did launch in June. That was correct. Microsoft. There's been reports that Microsoft will refund you. So if you're listening to this, you're pissed off about it. You haven't really, you know, bothered to venture out and see. Apparently, Microsoft has been giving people refunds. I don't know in what capacity. I've actually had good experiences in the past where one of my kids accidentally buys something from Microsoft, or, you know, I get charged for gold because I forgot to turn off auto renew or something like that. And they are usually pretty good about saying, all right, you know, here's your money back and you're good. It's pretty hassle free. So if you spent $2,000 on it, you might be SOL. But if you spent $50 or something like that, give Microsoft a call. They might work with you. Sony, on the other hand, I've seen people posting on Twitter kind of like, hey, give us our money back. So Sony apparently hasn't done that at this time. And then really bad news, shitty practice on their end, and I'm sure there will be some class action or something behind it. Employees were terminated with like like basically like, hey, don't come in today kind of thing. Like you're out of a job.
Like they get there, and the door's locked.
Right.
And there's like a little sign, like closed.
Yeah.
That's all.
And
that's
it's
all
like in Times New Roman, like not even like they didn't even word art it. Just yes, and like they're not getting paid their like PTO, no severance packages. Like they're just out of a job. That just sucks.
Yeah, you think they would have known a little bit of a head, you know, like, oh yeah, the company's not doing well. This may happen, you know, just like a little heads up, you know.
Yeah, and I've even seen reports of people saying that a couple months ahead of time they were starting to like lay people off, and there was like the signs were pointing to it, but I guess they didn't tell those people that they were keeping on board. Like, hey, just so you know, you might want to start looking for a job around Christmas time. So that's rough, man. Like it's a month before Christmas and to be out of a job, I'm like, that sucks, man.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. This news I love. I don't know if you saw the link that I put on our little doc there.
Open it right now.
All right, bro. You want to read that headline, bro?
I did see this. Okay, so Kellogg's is making a Super Mario Odyssey cereal that comes with Amiibo. Amiibus.
Well, it has an Amiibo code on it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's not like
you're gonna open a box and there's gonna be a whole amiibo in there, which would be
that would be awesome.
A lot better.
I would buy all of them. I would I'd be the kind of guy just sweeps a whole thing into my cart.
You would be your average Target employee.
So we'll there will be a link to this on the site. If you check out our website, Peeridium.com, I'll post the picture in the article for it. And you can find it yourself, of course, online. But here's a picture, if you can see, if you're watching this in video format, there's a picture of the Super Mario cereal box. And it looks awesome. Like, it just looks so sweet. Like, we've got the little mushrooms. It looks like there's a red and a green mushroom. And then the yellow, the little mystery, the coin box. Mario and Cappy are sitting there staring at the cereal. They're ready to smash. And then it's got big and bold right on the thing, the little amiibo symbol, showing that you can scan the box as an amiibo. And I think that's pretty cool. Kellogg's is doing it. So, you know, one of the biggest cereal brands on the planet. Pretty much guaranteed to be enjoyable. You know, it might not be the greatest cereal I've ever tasted, but it's probably going to be good.
Should have been General Mills.
Yeah. It definitely should have been. But I'm really excited for it, and hopefully we can get our hands on it. Hopefully it's not one of those SNES Classic kind of things. You know, I'm sure they know, based on the sales numbers of Super Mario Odyssey, that this cereal is going to be a big deal. But nonetheless, whenever I find out places are getting it, I'm going to be hitting up all the stores and getting at least a couple
Definitely
boxes.
got to try it.
Right.
No matter what.
And we'll try it on this show. I can tell you right now,
idea.
we're going to try it on the show. Y'all will have to listen to us eating cereal, but we will taste test it on here. Maybe we'll pour some balls instead of milk. Maybe balls will make milk by then. They keep adding flavors. Guarana milk. Oh,
that's an idea.
All right.
Then they'll have like the Guarana milk 0.
Yeah.
No sugar.
Exactly. They'll have all the milks, the 2%, the low fat, the vitamin D.
They'll have a chocolate one.
Oh no, D balls milk. That doesn't sound good.
Energy balls.
We're throwing out ideas. Whenever we do these shows, it's just like we should be helping somebody. We should be somebody's right hand man, telling them the secrets to success, because we've got them all. So back to somebody we've been talking about a lot lately, Disney. Our good friends at Disney. We've talked, I think, actually in the last 2 shows, at least the last show, we talked about Disney being in talks to purchase 21st Century Fox. And apparently, like, there was, all the talks are on, all the talks never happened, all the talk, you know, anytime a rumor goes out, it's always like
2 sides of the story, you don't know which one's true.
Right, exactly. So apparently they are in talks actively. This is still going on. This was posted today or yesterday, so pretty fresh. They're still in talks to buy 21st Century Fox, the movie and the TV assets of Fox. So they won't get the sports, they won't get the news or the business and whatnot, but it'll be the movies, which includes series like Avatar, X-Men, and then the TV shows, which I don't know what they do outside of the X-Men shows, but I'm sure they have some other franchises that you know, Marvel could do something with. And of course, unless you've been living under a rock like Patrick Starr, you would know that Disney owns Marvel. So them buying Fox is just going to further monopolize them, but it's going to bring X-Men and everything else into Marvel Studios. Inevitably, we may get
potentially into the Marvel Universe down the line.
Right.
That'd be a pretty cool thing.
I'm thinking if that happens, we would get like a Deadpool Netflix series or whatever their Disney's new streaming service will be. We'll get like, you know, rated R, like the Deadpool we deserve kind of thing. X-Men would absolutely make its way into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Or you get like an X-Force type thing.
Right. They'll probably cast like some chump as Wolverine though. Probably cast like, that would be just like the one thing that Marvel Studios does wrong. They just cast some trash guy as Wolverine. Some random, like Jay Baruchel. I love him as an actor, but like he's, you know, a little shrimpy guy. yeah, he'll be Wolverine. It'll be fine. We're going with a new approach. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see it happen. There's some good and some bad behind it. I mean, I think ultimately Fox would have to significantly shrink down if they lost that. Naturally so, those people would be kind of without a job. Hopefully Disney and Marvel would offer a lot of those people jobs, because it would suck for them to lose, their
same thing. They go up, door we lock, sign we turn around.
Exactly. But, I mean, I don't think Fox News is huge, with the, with politics and all that, so I don't think Fox would go anywhere. But I don't necessarily know if selling that big of a chunk of their enterprise is a good idea for them. Like, it could inevitably lead to a downfall. Could help them. It could go either way, but I mean, their movies are successful. They're not nearly what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, but like Avatar is one of the most successful films of all time. You sell that to Disney, then you lose that profit that they were making. So I don't know. But I also don't know what the talks are. Disney is absurdly rich, so they could buy them and get change back. They could pay cash. It's not going to hurt them any, and Fox can, knowing that, can say, hey, we need this. Like,
they could literally pay them in mouse ears.
Yeah.
They could just, here's 10 million mouse ears. Here you go. You
will make enough profit off the amount of mouse ears that we're going to give you to make it worth your while to sell the company. Stock. Yeah. That's what they could do. They just give them a few shares. Just have 3 shares. I don't even know what Disney's shares are, but it's probably way more than it should be.
It's probably $10.
That would be hilarious.
I'm sure it's more than that. I have no idea.
I'm looking it up.
We want to take guesses, educated guesses.
I'm gonna say $300 a share.
I'm gonna say 60.
60?
I have no idea.
105.
105. Okay.
I've seen some companies that are just huge. I don't even pay attention to stocks, so that's why mine was way off. But $105 isn't anything to shake a stick at. Especially if you're one of those people who bought into Disney back in the day for $5 a share or something like that. Now you're sitting on some money. Unless you bought 1 share. Now you're sitting on a nice dinner. Alright. So, today, the Infinity War trailer. Avengers 3.
Not the Revengers.
Technically Avengers 4, because I'm still upset that Captain America, that Civil War is called Captain America Civil War. Avengers 3 Infinity War, the trailer dropped, and it was completely different from the trailer that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con this year. If you can find the footage of the leaks, there was, of course, cam footage of the San Diego trailer. It was pretty cool. Of course, you're going to be watching it. It's all dark, and you can only see a quarter of the screen, but it was pretty tight. And this is way different. I didn't recognize any of the scenes. I didn't watch them, one after the other. It's been a few months, but I didn't recognize anything. So they went a whole different direction with this trailer. And what'd you think of it?
It's interesting. I mean, you see, going off memory here, it starts up, the Earth's really orange looking. Mm-hmm. And, he starts out with Robert Downey Jr. and, he's talking about, facing the loss and stuff like this. You see Captain America, he actually has a beard now. Mm-hmm. War Machine, he was flying. I hope it's Rhodes in the suit. I'm sure it is, but you never know.
It's Terrence Howard.
I'll walk out. I'll let it walk out of the movie. Thanos didn't have his helmet on, helmet, whatever.
Yeah. It's actually just his hair. It's a wig. Yeah.
You forgot to put it on that day.
Right.
It's crazy. You don't see Ant-Man or Wasp in it.
Maybe you do. Maybe they're this big. Maybe
they could be anywhere. Yeah. You don't see them human size.
Right.
It's gonna be a good movie. A lot of different characters. You're missing a few here and there. You don't see Nick Fury, but we know Samuel didn't take the part, so he's not going to pop up somewhere. But his voice was in the trailer at the very beginning.
Right.
He did start the Avengers Initiative,
yep.
So he's a big part of this, even though he's not in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost feel different about it because the trailer was great. Don't get me wrong, watch it. If you're an Avengers fan, if you're even like 1% like, oh, it's another Avengers movie, watch the trailer.
If you like just one Marvel movie, just go watch it.
Right. If you like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie from the 80s,
watch it.
Go watch the trailer. So, trailers nowadays kind of leave you expecting more, because all the trailers for anything are like just straight action and huge scenes, and movies are so big nowadays that even that, minute and a half of straight nonstop action doesn't ruin the movie. Sometimes those scenes aren't even in it. Like the Justice League trailer and the Justice League movie had a lot of different cuts.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I was reading up on about that. Like sometimes they'll film footage just for the trailers. It has nothing to do with the movies. Like, they'll get done with the scene and they'll be like, why we got you all out here. They'll film a bunch of different like scenes and stuff just to give to the trailer production crew, just to get stuff out there. It has nothing to do with the film, which is interesting.
I think a lot of times, I think more common than footage even is like dialogue. So many times you hear dialogue in a trailer, and it's like cut so it's misleading. Like the Star Wars trailer, like all the dialogue in that sounds like it's like a conversation with one person. But it's different voices, and you can tell, like, it's not... There's no way they're going to give you that much. It's like stringing together,
like, different things. It leads you to believe something else is going to happen in the movie, which doesn't happen.
But, and it can go both ways. Yeah. I like that, I can watch the trailer, and, like, I know, like, even if I think this is the fact, even if I think that what they're doing goes this way, if it doesn't, I'm going to be excited. If it does, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, I called it. Like, I was right. Because everybody speculates and whatnot. But what I loved and hated about this trailer was that it didn't show enough. Like, it didn't show much. It's Marvel, it's Avengers. It doesn't have to. So it's okay. I'm not upset. I don't feel like I'm owed more by Disney. But it really didn't show anything besides how many people are in the movie. You see, like, these little snippets of almost every cast of the Avengers. You see Black Panther, you see Spider-Man, Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, Thor, the Guardians of the Galaxy. You see a little bit of everybody. And I think it's really cool to show, like, hey, we're making this huge movie. Everybody you possibly like, even the people you hate, are going to be in it. But there's going to be so many people in it. There's really no way, even if you only liked Ant-Man, or even if you only like Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange, this is still a movie for you, because those characters are going to be in it, and they're going to be in this mass scale battle, that there's pretty much going to be something for everyone. But the trailer doesn't show much. And that's, again, like, I loved it and hated it, because the trailer from Comic-Con had a little bit more action in it. There's a significant amount of action in that. And this one, like, the most action we get is, like, Thanos holding the Infinity Gauntlet and putting stones in it. Like, it's cool.
He knocked the hell out of Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that. But, I feel... If you didn't know, initially, this was supposed to be a 2-part movie. It was supposed to be Infinity War Part 1, and Infinity War Part 2 comes out a year later, next May. But then they changed it. This one's called Infinity War. Avengers 4 has not been named at this point. I feel like, though, this movie is... I think it's still going to be 2-part. But I think Avengers 3 will stand as an open and shut plot. Mm-hmm. I think this movie is actually going to be more about Thanos getting the stones and basically wreaking havoc and, like, putting the Earth in peril, but not so much... Like, basically, I think this will be about the start of the war. Yeah. And I think the next one will be about defeating Thanos and rebuilding and all that.
He's still missing a stone, and next second part, he gets the final stone.
Right. Or even if he gets it, I think it'll be one of those things where it's like it happens at the end, and, like, he just destroys everything, and then maybe says, like, alright, I'm going to take a quick break, going to take a water break, going to hop off Earth real quick after I just killed, like, half of y'all, and then the next movie will start out with them, like, yeah, so he's probably going to come back. Like, we got to figure out something. We got to call the mystery gang, the mystery machine.
Do you think that they made the change from part 1 and part 2 because of Civil War? Like, just a little bit of flack that they caught over how that was a Captain America movie, but not really an Avengers movie. Like, maybe they decided, like, oh, you know, maybe we don't want to go that route again with it, like tacking on. I don't know.
I could see that being the cause. I actually think, most namely, is another is the Star Wars franchise. You know, Disney also owns. I think that it may have something to do with that and how, you know, like, people look back and say that Episode 5 is the best, but then a lot of people that don't think it's the best think it's not the best because it's not a full movie. The ending leads into what happens in 6, and it doesn't leave you with a open and shut thing. Naming a movie part 1 and part 2, even if it's an open and shut film, is going to give people that mindset. You know, like, nobody's going to be like, hey, let's watch Avengers Infinity War Part 2 today. You know, like, you're going to want to watch both movies. And I think that also, in recent years, other franchises, Harry Potter had Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. The Hunger Games had the final movie, I don't remember what it's called, I guess Mockingjay, Part 1 and 2. And then, you know, like, all these franchises had these final films that were in Part 1 and Part 2. But it's not really happening anymore. And I think the reason it's not is because so many people that weren't, like, diehard fans were like, what the like, why do I have to go see 3 movies to see The Hobbit? This is the shortest Lord of the Rings book. Like, what kind of nickel and diamond BS is that? And I think that that's kind of where Marvel and Disney looked at it. Like, maybe they were going to go a direction where, alright, it ends, you know, part 1 ends in the middle of the war, and then part 2 picks up and finishes it. And then maybe they were like, there's a different way to do this. We don't have to do this. We have 40 characters in this movie or something. Like, we don't need to make it a 2-part film. We have enough plot, we have enough character development that we can make each film an open and shut movie.
While we're still in this little, like, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars trailer, I just want to point out the fact, Disney, what are you doing releasing 2 major trailers in such a short time frame? Like, Star Wars and Marvel, like, I think they could have spread these out a little bit more. That's just taking a step back and looking at it.
I was telling my dad, who's got me into all this stuff. We talk all the time about movies and Star Wars and Disney and all that. I said, I guarantee you we get the Infinity War trailer with Star Wars. Because a lot of times, at least back in the day, where we have midnight showings still and things like that, you would get, like, you know, Spider-Man would come out and you'd get the trailer for the next X-Men. Or the trailer for, you know, whatever other cool, like, nerd movie was coming out. And I was thinking that's perfect. Because Avengers comes out in May. One short teaser, 30, 45-second trailer would be awesome. And everybody's already hyped for Star Wars. So seeing that at the beginning of Star Wars would be like, bro, Avengers. And I'm sure it'll air with it now. I mean, the movie comes out in 2 weeks. But I was thinking, they've been so hush about the Infinity War trailer, and people are demanding it, like, please, please, the trailer. It's all you see whenever you see Avengers anything. So I was like, it's common sense. They're going to do it with another huge franchise that they have. And I think that would have been great. But then, like, yesterday they tweeted, tomorrow, Infinity War trailer. So what's the significance of the second to last day of November? You know, like, what's the significance of today over another day? There's no events. It wasn't a football game or, you know, Jimmy Fallon's show or something like that. Like, they usually save something like this for a big event, and they didn't. And they just said, trailer tomorrow. Here you go, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, they could have easily saved it for, like, near the Black Panther release date or, you know, something like that.
Now, I think, since we got this first one now, I think we'll get another major one. Black Panther's February?
That sounds right.
Okay, so Black Panther's February, Super Bowl's February. Either of those we will get.
Yeah, probably like
another
during the Super Bowl or something like that.
And Super Bowl makes sense. We had that those cool, remember the Coke cans and the Hulk and Ant-Man and stuff. Yeah. So that I'm sure we'll get something. You know, Disney's way too big to miss an opportunity like that. But I get what you're saying. I mean, it's like they're just at the same time though they have so much coming out right now. Like, how do you not? advertise it. Like Black Panther, they just released a new trailer for that maybe a month ago. I want to say when Thor came out, there was a Black Panther trailer that dropped right around that time, within a week or two of it coming out. And you know, like that's another. If we look back at the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've gotten multiple Star Wars trailers. We've gotten like international ones. We've gotten little like TV spots, and then we've got Infinity War trailer and a new Black Panther trailer, all just crunched together in a small period of time. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. We really could do a show like this every other day or something, because there's so much news coming
just about the trailers and
exactly
stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. So Infinity War, man, it looks good. It's pretty much guaranteed to be good. It's gonna be F word also.
Yeah. I think Vision's gonna be killed off in this. I know we briefly talked about this before the show.
Yeah.
I see him being the most likely to die. That's my number one pick for for the 2018 draft.
They've already said like the stakes are going to be extremely high in this and all this other stuff. Vision obviously is crafted from an Infinity Stone, so they're pretty much going to have to kill him off in some way, shape, or form.
If he doesn't die during this one, he'll die in the next one for sure.
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about Vision. Like, if he dies, can they bring him back when they defeat Thanos? You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
So
good point.
That's, that is an option. That is something that could possibly happen. I would guarantee I don't know who. Could be both, could be one. More likely going to be one over the other. But I think either Captain America or Iron Man's going to die. Yeah, and I think it's most likely going to be Robert Downey Jr. because he's already said he's not doing another Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, that has been brought up. I see your point. Captain America, they could be gearing up for Bucky taking over. Mm-hmm. That's been talked about a lot.
And Falcon's taken over as Captain America as well. Before.
Yeah, I would like to see Falcon get killed off, but that's... I don't know.
He'll come back as Terrence Howard. He'll just eventually he'll work his way back into the Marvel universe.
Out of all the Avengers, like, besides, like, Hawkeye, maybe, like, he's just, I don't know. It's just, I think he's one of those killable characters.
I can see
he doesn't have any standalone films, or is about to. Obviously, they can't kill Black Panther. Spider-Man.
No, please don't kill the black guy first. That'd be terrible. And he's such a great character.
As hard as they work for the rights to Spider-Man and all, he'll probably be leading the Avengers somewhere down the road.
Mm-hmm. It could go so many ways because Marvel has been establishing all these storylines, and in the last few years we've had huge storylines, like absurdly big, crossing timelines and all this like DC style stuff. Like 18 different Spider-Mans. I think there's a comic called Spider-Verse where it's just a whole bunch of different Spider-Mans. But they could go so many different ways because in the last few years they've had different characters take on the mantle of other people. Most recently, they just had, I think with Marvel Legacy, like Punisher got the War Machine gear. Mm-hmm. So like War Machine could become, like the Iron Man of the MCU. And then they could tie John Bernthal as the Punisher into the MCU and give him the War Machine, or put the War Machine stuff on the Netflix style shows and just have him just wrecking stuff, just destroy all of Hell's Kitchen in New York and just, I don't know. There's so many different ways they could go with it, but I do think Vision is pretty much an obvious one. In some capacity, he's going to die. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back because they've got, Scarlet Witch and him have their little emotional thing or their romantic thing rather. And, Paul Bettany's a fantastic actor. His wife voiced the suit that Spider-Man wore. Yeah. In Spider-Man Homecoming, she voiced the AI. So they're kind of, tight-knit with the people at Disney. Kevin Feige, what have you. They probably have a good relationship with them. So I don't know if they're going to completely remove him, but rather he'll be gone, at least for the time being. And then one of those guys, Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr., solely, if not for just the fact that they don't want to do the movies anymore, like these guys are making bank per movie, and you can't have another Avengers movie without them in it unless they're written off in some way or killed off. So if you're paying those guys a 10th of your budget or an eighth of your budget or something like that just for two people, like you just have to. It's business.
I mean, I haven't seen rumors of Scarlett Johansson being killed off. Like, she wants her own standalone movie, asking a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could happen. I'll say it's unlikely, but I would put her on the potential list. Right. Next.
Yeah, it's possible. And she's like, I mean, she was never, a bad actor, C-rate actor or anything like that, but like she's been in some good stuff since the Avengers. I think it's like helped her career. So, maybe if she wants some more money and wants, bigger starring roles and stuff, even if she can't work it out with Disney, other people will pick her up. She's become like a Charlize Theron kind of actress. Like people will pick her up and put her in those movies where she's the lead role. Like she was in that movie Lucy. So, gotta do what's best for business, which is not microtransactions and loot boxes. I guess we could just touch on that just real quick, if I could, before we wrap it up. EA is just like, it's going to take them a while to recover. Like, they released, the new Need for Speed, I heard is like just littered with loot boxes, and they completely removed the loot boxes and microtransactions out of Battlefront 2. They said temporarily. Now I think they're doing it permanently. Like, different countries are looking into if loot boxes actually qualify as gambling. Like, it's crazy. They've dug a huge hole. And I think Metacritic or something, I saw like a screenshot. I don't know if it was true or not, but on Metacritic, Battlefront 2 has like an absurdly low rating. The game's really not that bad, but it was like dangerously low. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, I believe the people were complaining the story for the new Need for Speed's not that good. That's what I've heard through the source side. I can't confirm it yet. I'll play it eventually.
The user score is a 0.9 on Metacritic.
Out of...
I think 10.
Out of 10, okay. Out of 100.
It might be. Let me look up something else. Let me look up like a Wolfenstein too.
If it's out of 100, we're done. We don't need to talk about it anymore. That's it. It speaks for itself. That's probably out of 10.
I would say that's a solid guess.
Unless it's like out of 1.
Yeah, because Wolfenstein 2 has a 7.6. Okay. So that 0.9's out of 10. Nonetheless, it's still like ridiculously low. And a lot of it's going to be people just giving it a 0 or whatever. The lowest score is just because of the concept. They've never played it or anything. But I have the game. I bought it. I went in with Destroyer. We both went in half on it or whatever and bought it. We share gold on Xbox. I was excited for it. I played the first half hour of the campaign or something, but it's just like, it is not... The whole thing just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I've known EA's been greedy. They've been greedy for as far back as greed, was around. Like, they've never really had completely solid business practices. But it's just, like, terrible, man. They're doing it with everything.
Yeah, actually, their stock lost $3 billion. $3 billion after Battlefront 2.
Wow.
$3 billion.
That's insane.
Billion with a B.
Dude, that's like our combined net worth.
Like, over our lifespans.
Yeah. I meant like our
Multiple
whole families. Like, everyone that we're possibly related to in any way. Second cousins, like, deceased family members. Anyone that you can think of. So yeah, EA's gotta figure something out. It's gonna be an uphill climb for them for at least a couple years. This is not something where they can. Battlefront 1 was already an issue because of the $50 DLC where you got like nothing worth the money. And the game was released with like 2 maps.
The game, I wrote a review on it. The game was not good whatsoever compared to the originals. Like, it was just
Did we get some hate for that? Did we get some hate for your review of it?
No, I think that was like a Ghost Recon.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I got you.
Okay, besides the point, yeah.
Yeah, so EA's got a big uphill climb. Now, I know you're a big fan of this one game franchise that's kind of blown up lately on PC.
You're talking about the one with the chicken dinners.
I think so. I mean, it's not turkey dinners,
No,
right?
it's not turkey dinners. That was...
Yeah.
That's in the past. We're
way past turkey dinners. So, I heard some news about it. You might want to... Do you want to care to share?
So, Bluehole. PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, they will be coming to mobile. If you want to enlighten us.
Mobile games.
There's actually been a lot of knockoffs of this on mobile already. Like, you can just go through the Play Store and just, see a bunch of wannabes.
Well,
like Fortnite 1, Fortnite 2. Oh,
yeah.
wait, no.
Quick segue about Fortnite. Did you see the dev was trying to sue like a 14-year-old kid for cheating in the game?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole...
That doesn't surprise me.
I didn't read into it, but we'll just leave it at that. You can look it up. Okay, so Tencent, the publisher, they announced that the developer Bluehole is working to port PUBG to smartphones. It'll initially be released in China. It's going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely huge in China. And then there's no release date. But that's okay. It was just announced. PUBG's huge. PUBG is definitely like a phenomenon. I mean, I'm starting to see, shirts. Like, you got a dope shirt that you wore on our last show. I mean, it's everywhere. That I know people that are like getting into PC. Like, they want to build a gaming rig to play PUBG. Yeah. And it's coming to Xbox One. And they're just like, I mean, PC's obviously going to be the place to play it. I don't like playing on smartphones. I don't like using my thumbs on the screen and all that. But I mean, if it's a reasonable price, if it's not $20 or something, if it's like $5, $10, like most purchase mobile games are, or free to play with a reasonable pay model, I'll get into it for sure on mobile. I'm definitely going to get into it on Xbox One when it launches. But I mean, I think it's smart for them to capitalize on it. Make it it's almost a Minecraft kind of thing, Like, it's a huge game. It's a big deal. It's going to continue to be big. Yeah. And, like, I think you said it only has one map right now, right?
Yeah, one map. There's a second one confirmed. I think they're saving it for when they actually release the game, unless it hits early access, like, just before or something.
Right. But, like, considering that, one map, and it's got, like, probably millions of players playing it all the time. You're never going to have issue finding the server or finding a match on, like,
it's like, you join, it's like, the lobby fills up in a matter of a minute, you got 100 players, bam.
Yeah, and it's one map right now, and people are playing it that massively. So when they get second map, third map, fourth map, however many they go with, they probably don't even need to do that many. It's then going to be, as long as they do a good job with it and everything, don't drop the ball anywhere, put in like a bunch of like loot boxes where you where you unlock Darth Vader and stuff.
It hasn't gone that way. I mean, I can only speak on the PC where you have the Steam market and you only have cosmetic items. You get credit.
Keep it cosmetic. That's my thing.
Yeah. You get credits for playing, and then you can buy crates with those credits, and then you can either sell the crate or you can open the crate and get items. Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Wow. I'm excited. I'm excited to play it on Xbox One, but I mean, just the fact that it's like, I think it's promising. It's one of those things where I don't think like porting it to other consoles. I think it'll keep its integrity, just like Minecraft did. Like, Minecraft did not, it's still huge. So many people play it, mostly, younger audiences, but like, it never really lost its steam.
This is like Minecraft for adults.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm excited to see them do big things. I mean, you create a concept that works, and you do a good job with it, like, you deserve the success that comes with it. So I'm excited for them. And I'm also excited to see what they do next. I think I heard that they're doing like a steampunk style, like, MMO or something like that. So they're working on other stuff, which is cool. But I'm sure you'd like to get your second PUBG map first.
Yeah, it's going to be like a desert map. That'd be different play style.
Right. I want to see like a snow map. I've always had a big thing for them. Just like snow themed levels. So that pretty much does it for our show. A lot of good news this week. There was stuff we didn't cover. I just, I didn't want to run the show on for 2 hours. I'll try to get some news. And the good thing is, with all this news that's been coming out, a lot of it is just like, you'll get one snippet and then something else. So like, something we were going to talk about today, something new could add to it next week. We'll cover it on the show then. But yeah, some really awesome stuff. Really no negative news besides EA, but thankfully the fans kind of put them in their place with that. So I want to see them open their eyes and make steps in the right direction and fix themselves.
Yeah.
And for the fans, because they make good games.
Essentially what's bad for EA has been good for the general gaming public. It seems like
right.
Maybe they're learning from their lessons.
Exactly. All right, but thank you for watching our show. We appreciate your time. You can check us out on pretty much all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're pretty active on Instagram and Twitter, not so much on Facebook, but we do post anything we post to the website, we share on Facebook. You can also, of course, check us out at Peeridium.com, where you can create an account and post your own content, your own reviews and whatnot. We'd love to have you as part of our community. We are a peer-fueled website, and we want you a part of it, just like we're a part of it. You could even be sitting somewhere awkwardly on this table, this table.
You in your holographic form.
You could sit on the steps. You could lay on the table. Might have to get a better table. It might break. I don't know if I'd trust anybody to lay on it. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Check us out. We'll have all the links down below in the description. Also, these are going to start releasing in audio format, so you'll be able to check us out on all major podcast platforms. We're going to be getting these up on iTunes, Blueberry, probably SoundCloud, really anywhere that we can get our voice out there. So, drink some Red Bull. This was pretty good. I'm not even a fan of orange stuff, but I enjoyed it. Tangerine, rather. Yeah. And, how did you like your...
Tropical was good.
Tom Hanks sweat?
Yeah.
So, Red Bull...
It really roped me in.
Wilson. R.I.P. Wilson. Alright, but thanks for watching. My name is OutBREAK.
I'm Mojave.